What's up, guys? Before we get started today, I just want to remind everybody, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to ER Comedy. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to me, and I'm appreciative for everybody who's ever done one of those things. Before we get today's episode started, I want to read off, I got a couple upcoming comedy dates. On October 4th, I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee. On October 5th, I'll be in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And November 9th, I will be in Oh, it was perfect until that moment. I will be in Clarksville, Tennessee on November 9th. So, guys, make sure you come out. It should be a lot of fun. What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Best Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Russler. Joining me this week is a good friend of mine named Sean O'Brien. You can catch him out on the road, opening up for Nikki Glazer and Greg Warren. He's also starting a brand new podcast on the Nateland Network with Greg Warren and another funny comic, Tim Convey. It's called The Consumers, where they sit down and talk about different products and have a little fun discussion or argument about it. And it sounds like a great time. I haven't seen it yet. It doesn't come out for another couple days when I record this, but by the time you're seeing it, it's already out. So make sure you go over and check that out. But we sat down and we talked about everything from football to U2 to concerts and golden tea and all kinds of stuff. He's a great guy. He's fun, a lot of fun, just really good energy. And I know you're going to enjoy the episode. So without further ado, Sean O'Brien. Yeah, you want to plug your social media and...
Yeah, let's see. So it would be Instagram's the main one, and that's that Sean O'Brien. SeanObrien. That Sean O'Brien. That's primarily where I live in if I do for show promos. I do it on Facebook. I don't even know what your quote Facebook handle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Isn't it like a bunch of numbers or something? It's like
Sean
O'Brien.
Yeah, I have no idea.
869.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Facebook is so confusing to me because it's so opposite of all the other platforms.
Right.
Like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you put a reel out and, some of them have taken off. Some of them have gotten hundreds of thousands of views. I've had some reels on Instagram that got like 1.7 million views and stuff like that. And then you go over to Facebook and it's like 16 plays.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's the same company. It's the same.
Right.
Why? And it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But yeah. And what's the podcast called?
Yeah. So the podcast is called The Consumers. It's with my buddy Greg Warren and Tim Convey, St. Louis
awesome.
guys. Yeah, man. So we're going to take a brand every week and do a deep dive into it in a, hopefully comedic way where you're like, all right, let's make this funny. So example, we've done 3. Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, okay.
Legos, which I was a little like, what? Legos? It turned out we actually had fun doing it.
I was about to say, I would have so much fun with the Legos.
Yeah. I didn't touch them as a kid, so now I'm being a selfish prick, and I'm like, it's a kid's toy. Somebody's. And then you start peeling back. You just got to do that thing when you're online. That deep dive where, you got to go to that Google, like, page 8. Like, then that's where you can find some stuff. And then you got to see and match it up. You're like... Because that's the thing, man. It's trying to decipher what is true and not, man. Once you get out of, like, the top 5 articles, then it gets into, like, folklore and
That's where the fun stuff is.
That's where, yeah. That's where the fun stuff is, man.
What was it? Backpage? Was that I don't know. It reminds me of, like, once you go past page, like, 6 on Google, it kind of reminds me of the classified ads in the old, in newspapers.
Yeah,
Remember that where you'd go through and you'd read, like, anybody who gave them $25 could get a paragraph. And it's just the weirdest, like, looking for X, this, and you're like,
yes,
this sounds
it was like the first Tinder kind of thing, wasn't it? It would be like, SWF looking for, like they had all the codes, slim, M,
Yeah.
30s, 40s.
Well, isn't that what that whole song, the Pina Colada song, isn't that what it's about? Is the guy answers a classified ad and finds out it's his wife.
Oh, all right. I guess
he
they're putting
meets
it
up
together.
with her, and because it's like they fall out of love, and they both go like she puts out a classified ad, and he responds to it, thinking it's some like fun, adventurous girl, and then realizes like, oh no, this is just the lady I've been with for 20 years. Or
That's
whatever.
great, man. Yeah. I kind of wish it was like that. I think that'd be kind of fun if that was the world we lived in again.
Yeah, bring it back.
As a guy who has a girlfriend, so I don't even know, man. I don't even know how the dating thing works today. Like if you're single, call it whatever age, 25. I mean, I guess, and you want to get out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess that's the first play, man. You got to go on essentially social media for dating, which is all that.
It's all apps.
It's all apps, right?
Swiping and double hearts and liking and everything like that. And I remember, so I met my wife, and I think a month later was when somebody told me about Tinder. And they were like, oh, there's this new app, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm kind of glad I missed this.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have been really bad at it or just like out of control. Just because, I mean, I remember having buddies in the military that were they're like, you get 50 swipes a day. I would just watch them. I'm like, you can't even see. And they're like, yeah. They're like 50 no's and a yes is still a yes. Like, accuracy by volume, I guess.
It's just, man, it's a cold platform in the sense of you just look at that. I used it like, I don't know, for a month when I was single years ago. And, you're just basically being like, that face, not happening, and just gone. Just like that. 2 seconds, I would look at one. I don't even read a profile. Just picture out. Mm-hmm. Just like that, which is, because I found myself, I've always been one of those guys that I got attracted to whatever girl by just getting to know her, man. And then that just, I don't think I'm making history with that, but that's just like, I've always like my girlfriend now. We met at the Funny Bone 15 years ago. She was a server. She was married. She got divorced. And I always have to clarify that. Because people, what? I never even looked at her like, oh man, if she gets single one day, I think I'm gonna take a shot. Never occurred to me. It did. She was just a coworker.
That's crazy because that's how I met my wife too. She was married. She had like a baby daughter, and she's my best friend's cousin, and like we met at their grandparents' house, and she just like blew in the front door and like ran to the back to do something, and then ran like it was like 5 minutes. And I was like, oh, she was nice, like not even thinking about it. And then 3 years later, she's divorced, single mom. We just happened to bump into each other again. And I was like, oh, Kelly, right? And that was it.
So that was it. Yeah, you guys just ran into each other. You had previous history. Mm-hmm. You knew each other a little bit.
It was so funny. The first time I ever met her, though, like I was like, hi, I'm Eric. And she just went, okay. Like that, because she was like, I'm married. I'm not talking to you. Like, she's like, I can't even think, this way. And she was, it was a whole crazy situation anyway. But anyway.
Well, at least you're cordial. Unlike one of the first times I met you, which I'm just going to get this out right now. Easily, man. I mean, my problem is my brain just doesn't really sometimes stop and be like, just think about the shit coming out of your mouth. So I've known you a while. I think I might have met you down at Cape. Mm-hmm. We did the Billy Gardell show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then I don't know what, I just had this compulsion. I just look at you and I go, somebody was like, Eric was military. Eric was Marines. I was like, oh, wow. And I just go, hey, man, did you ever kill anybody? Which... probably good advice to not just say that to somebody in it was such an ignorant.
No, actually,
what are you doing, man? The guy could have PTS, and if he did, what is he going to say? Oh yeah, dude, I blew this guy's temple right off of his neck. And I never remember feeling so bad. And I think the next time I saw you, I go, sorry, dude. I go, that was. I don't think you cared.
Actually,
but
no. Actually, I don't mind that because there are kids will ask you. They'll be like, "Do you ever kill anybody?"
Yeah.
Like, they'll be the first ones.
There
to
you
be
go.
Like,
Kids.
No. But adults annoy me because they beat around the bush. That's what they want to know. But they'll ask other questions and they'll be like, "Oh, did you ever like go over there?" You know, and they'll just
Right.
like give a head nod, and you're like, "Over where? The Sheridan?" You
Yeah.
know, like that. And they're like, "No, you know, like over." So like, did you ever like while you were there? Did you like see? And it's like, just ask. Just let's just.
That's great, man.
Let's
Yeah,
just clear
yeah.
the air. And it's
Yeah.
it's so weird because like I never killed anybody. You know. And sometimes you tell people that, and they look a little disappointed, and you're like, I'm sorry, like,
Yeah, man.
you know. But I feel like if I said too many, they'd also be like, oh, this guy's a psych. So it's like, what's the appropriate? You know,
Yeah,
one or
right.
two is respectable, but like 50 is like, geez,
Yeah.
Rambo, this guy's insane.
That's but that's such a good point about like, and there's so many situations where other people will pull that, where they're trying to ask a direct question, but they'll dance around it in the hopes that you just will say the answer they're looking for the question they're not asking. So when you're over there, did you have like a gun or a weapon? Yeah, I had a gun. Yeah. So did you see did you see the bad guys? Yeah, I saw some bad guys.
Yeah.
So, did they have a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some weapon. It's like that thing. I just dude, just ask me. Just ask me.
Did you guys ever
if I
like
shot
point
this
those
person.
guns at each other? Like, you know, did you ever like from like a distance, or was it like close? Or
Man, I'll tell you, dude, I am, I'm not trying to be some hack here, but I really do. I am fascinated by military now, man. It was one of those things as a kid. I'm 43. And I don't know. I remember I was just a real dipshit in high school, limp through, D+ student. I mean, just could care less, not even paid no mind. I don't know. I didn't know how I got a diploma, and I was all about just work, make money, and like my dad was a plumber, and he had this real like work ethic, and he's like, you're gonna get a job in the trades, or you're going to the military. And I'm like, I'm not going to that military. I was like, that stuff's crazy. That's not for me, and all this stuff, and. But I say, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean it's crazy, Sean? And I'm like, and then I start looking into like, just some of the stuff that certain, like what the SEALs do, what the Rangers do. I read that Marcus Luttrell book.
oh yeah.
Which I've read about 4 books in my life. That's one of them, and just, man, dude, like just the stuff that you have to do and see. On a human level, it's just so insane. I guess I'm getting. I don't know how much, of the everyday person knows, like just what a crazy gig that is. And I'm not just talking SEAL, man. I'm talking Marines.
Well,
and
it's what's weird is that you kind of compartmentalize it, where it's like, if you're working at the Funny Bone and Matt says, "Hey Sean, we need 6 cases of Bud Light." Whatever, and you go get 6 cases of Bud Light and you bring it back behind the bar. It's kind of the same. You don't think about what you're actually doing. You're like, I just have to get this done. You know what I mean? It's the same within the military where you're like, oh, I just have to get this done. And then it's not until like later on that you start to like, oh, wait, what? Okay, so wait, what happened? Like your brain...
Just almost desensitized to whatever order you're getting.
That's why a lot of times when anytime you do anything in the military, you have everybody has to then write like an after action report is what they call it, where you just write down your experience because everyone's brain process it differently. So
right, yeah,
you'll see like 12 guys all went through the same thing, and then you'll get 12 different reports afterwards. And that's how they kind of piece together the story of like, oh, okay, so this is what happened. And there are guys, like I said, I wasn't some hero or anything, but there are guys that were, did crazy, insane stuff where you're like, hey man, how did you do that? And he's like, I don't know. I didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me. And it's like, yeah, man, it was.
Right.
And it was like their brain just shut down and was like, we're doing this. And then it wasn't until much later that they were like, oh, maybe I did charge that machine gun, or like, maybe I did clear this, whatever. It's like, I mean, it's I'm sure in that book, because I read it too, he kind of talks about, you like, it's just a job, like you just do it.
Yeah.
And that's, I always feel weird in a way when people are like, hey, thank you for your service, because I'm just like, I mean, like, I understand like I understand like the way that people, they're going about it. It's like a sincere thing. And so you're like, oh, thanks. But at the same time, you're like, I just didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't like, I wasn't some like super honorable guy that was like, I will fight.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It was like, I don't want to go to SEMO. You know?
Right. That's the funny. Be like, man, I would much rather be at war than
Yeah.
have to sit through 25 hours of credits.
Right.
for
I don't
4
want to
years.
take. I don't want to take intro to ballroom dancing. You know what I mean?
I did. I took, man. So I tried to do. So I graduated high school barely. I'm a bartender in New York State. You can bartend at 18 years old. And I was valet parking at this restaurant called the Newport House. It was on Lake Ontario, real hopping place. And this is like 98, 99. I'm like, I don't know, one night, like all the bartenders, I guess there was some stealing going on, and they got rid of like 4 bartenders, and they had nobody to work the deck, the outside bar deck. And I go into park cars, and I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And they're like, no, well, Brian, you can't bartend, you're 18. And I'm like, yeah, you can. I was like, here's the thing, you can bartend at 18, cocktail serve at 19, drink at 21. There's no logic on that one. So I couldn't cocktail serve at 18, but you can bar. So whatever. And the guy's like, man, we got nobody. Let O'Brien do it. Now, again, this is again, late 90s, man. And this is a high-end place. And I'm like, my first drink, guy orders a Dewar's and soda. Now, I didn't even know what Dewar's is. So I'm like, okay, that's got to be some sort of liquor. So I look at and then he goes soda. And my dumb ass, I was like, I guess he just calls Pepsi soda. And I just made like a Dewar's and Coke. And he goes, no, he goes soda. And I wouldn't own up to it. I was like, I got it. He wants the clear. He wants the Sprite.
Oh, okay. Yep.
3 drinks. And he goes, and I just remember he goes, hey man, are you okay? That's what he said to me, which I thought was such a great thing, because he's like, I've had Dewar's and Club Soda. I'm like, I didn't know. I was like, here, man. I was like, I won't charge you. I go, I'll pay for it. My pop. Please don't tell. It's literally the first guy I ever made. He goes, you're good, man. And he was some rich guy with a boat, I remember, and he just gave me a 20. And then I got that's when I got hooked. I was like, okay, I bought the drink, $6. There's $14. I was making like $1,000 a week in 1998. While my friends were making, or getting ready for school, or having just some, I don't know, mopping floors job for $4.25 an hour. So I just got sucked in, man. Like I was like, college, you cry. I go, I'm rich. I am rich from my friend. I was the first one in my group with a cell phone. They're like, what are you doing, dude? How do you afford that?
The big, thick brick one.
Thick brick one, man. Yeah. It was just that. Yeah, exactly. And then it had like the long, crazy antenna. And I was so proud. I had my cell phone. And then we're all hanging out. And they're like, well, who's going to call you? But we're all together. So there's no one to call you anyways, dummy. Like, this will make sense when we all have the phones. That's that thing though, being young, man, just thinking I had life figured out, but I wasn't a forward thinker. I was like, yep, we're going to take this, so I'm going to make something out of it. And but I kind of did it. I just like stayed a bartender. Like I still do it on and off to this day, but great side gig, man. Great. And if you're in the right spot, I suppose you can make, I bet you if you're in Vegas bartending, man, you're probably making some real money. But man, it's that restaurant, that hospitality world, man, it can suck you in hard, man, where you're just like, now, man, I'm making $1,000 a week in the 90s. This is insane. That is insane. My buddies are taking home $150, making $1,000. And but then what happens, then you wake up, then you're 24, and they're like, yeah, man, now we're making like $1,500 a week because we went to school, and now I'm an engineer, and I'm still slinging Dewar's and Club Soda, and nothing wrong with that. If that's what you do, it's great. That's what I still do to make extra money on the side. And so then my real job was that I started selling cars, and that was all.
Oh, yeah.
We could do 50 minutes on that.
That's how Rick, right? Rick Billings.
Yeah,
That's how I met him. Is because it was one of the many jobs I bounced through after the military was selling cars. And
you sold?
Oh yeah. And it was man, that's a job.
Oh, dude, how long did you sell for?
Oh, not long.
Yeah.
9 months maybe.
All right, so you got your feet wet.
Yeah, he stuck with it a little bit longer than I did, but I remember just being like, I was so excited because it's you can make good money.
Yeah.
Selling cars, and I was on track after the first. I remember 1 month I was the top salesman. I had 13 cars within like the first week. And we had this little board, and they'd put a little X next to your name. And I remember looking at that and seeing my name with all the X's, and I went, "Yeah, I hate this."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I was like, every night I would go home and just be like, just eating Tums like M&Ms.
Yeah,
because I would just have so much just from like haggling over $100 with someone on a 10-year-old Civic or something like that. And
the grinders, man. That's what we call those people. Grinders right there. Yeah, yeah.
And it was they're just like, I thought we were friends and you're trying to nickel and dime me. And you're like, well, I would love to make this deal with you, but we would. And you're like, oh, it just eats at you.
Man, and it's just like, I don't know how it is today. I mean, I was selling in like 2002, 3, 4. Mm-hmm. So the internet's around, but it's not. I mean, it's pre-smartphone. People aren't shopping at their fingertips, where you could just pull up 10 dealers today, try and do comps. And, dude, we did every just cliche, what do I have to do to get you in this, At what price would you buy? And, dude, some of the moves we would pull, man, it was just crazy. Like, I worked with – that's funny, man. We were talking about this off air about, like, interesting people and funny people. Like, some of the most interesting, probably the funniest guys I met were the guys I sold cars with.
Oh, yeah.
They were just these, like, I'm this 20-year-old kid. They're like these old-school Italian guys. They all look like they're in Goodfellas. Nice suit, man, a slick back hair. A little, what I said to the guy is, I says to the guy, all that type of thing. And they were just, wolves. If they got you, man, it was like, they'd take your keys. They'd be like, all right, meaning this. So you go in. You'd be like, yeah, I'm looking at a car. All right, great. Are you looking to trade in? Yeah, I'm looking to trade in that. All right, give us your keys so I can have my trade-in specialist
take a look.
Well, there's no trade-in specialist.
No.
We just got your keys now,
it goes
man.
in a desk drawer so nobody can you can't get them back.
You can't, dude. You're held hostage at a dealership, man. And then the fun begins, man. And it was just, I'll tell you what. The one story that I always thought was great was I'll tell you because I could do this for seriously 6 hours. But you would get some people who knew what they were doing, man, and they would negotiate hard. They would really. Sometimes that's almost to a point that they were unreasonable. Where you'd be looking at a $28,000 Dodge Durango, right? $28,000 car, and they're like, "Well, I'm not spending that." Okay, no problem, sir. What would you like to spend? Mm-hmm. Can you do 12.5? No, sir. We can't discount the car 55%. No, I can't. We can and have the dealership lose about 10 grand. So you would do this game back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this guy, you could basically, back in those days on a Dodge Durango, I'm using an example, if it was $28,000 with rebates, you could buy it if you were all the way there for about 20 grand. Mm-hmm. If you chiseled off a little bit of the price plus rebates. And this guy, it's like he knew it. And his number was like 19. And we're just like, we just can't sell for 19, man. We're going to lose. We're going to get clobbered, right? Mm-hmm. So here's where he's like, man, I'm just going to go shop around, So this is the move we would do if somebody told us this. How fucked up is this? He goes, so we go, well, listen, what if we can do it for $17,000? Would you do it right now? And he goes, 17? Well, yeah, what if we could do it for 17 grand right now? He goes, that's pretty good. Now, hear what we're saying. We're not saying we could.
No.
And he's like, man, I'll take that out. He goes, I'm pretty good chance we get 17. So he goes, now I'm going to look around. So that's called a low ball.
Yeah.
Meaning we just gave you a completely fictitious number of something you can't buy. So now he's going around to other dealers, right? And he's like, yeah, I want that Durango for 17 or 16.5. And they're like, go pound sand, man. You're
Yeah.
not getting it. So what does he do? He comes back, right? And he goes, yeah, Sean, you know what? You're right. That was the best deal. What a good deal. Yeah, I'll take the 17. And I'll be like, great. And then it was all a bit. Then I go on the computer, I'd start hitting buttons. I'd be like, oh, no, you're not going to believe this. He's like, what? I was like, that new Durango, we just sold it for $16,500. He's like, what? I go, yeah, man, I told you. We didn't sell it, man. The car's sitting in the back lot. We would literally have one of the lot guys go and put a sold tag on it in case he went back to look at more vehicles. He goes, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, yeah, man, I told you had to buy when the price is right. I go, we could have got you that 17. We never could have. Never could have got it for the 17 at all, man. So now he's like, oh, man, you got to be kidding me. And then now I'm flipping him. I'm like, dude, you got to take these deals, man. You got to strike when the iron's hot. I go, next time, what is the lesson learned? So now he's my guy. Now he's like, all right, man, what's the second closest Durango you have? I go, it's this one, but it's got heated seats, so it's going to be an extra $3,000 more. And he goes, all right, I'll take it. And that was just one anecdote of how we would try and slither people into buying a vehicle. We had it the whole time, man. Yeah. We had the car the whole friggin' time. And, dude, yeah, it was that's what it was. Cutthroat, relentless.
That's how Rick and I became friends, because we were doing this training program, and it was Grant Cardone was the guy's name. It's some salesman out of Miami, and he's cutthroat wolf. You know, he has a video, and he's like, if I kidnapped your wife and kids and told you couldn't have them back until you made 6 sales this week, would you be able to get them back? And it's like, yeah, but you don't have my wife and kids.
Right.
He's like, well, if you're willing to lie to people to get your wife and kids back, why aren't you willing to lie to provide for you? And it's like, and I remember all the other salesmen being like, yeah. And I like looked over, and Rick was looking at me, and we both went, like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this guy's a solid dude. I can be friends with him.
Yeah, man. It's just like, it's a weird game of ethics over there in the car world. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure buying today, I don't know. I'm sure there's some of the old school principles still apply. It's got to be a little trickier, though, with the phone, just being able to shop around so much easier. But I used to, man, when I moved to St. Louis, that's what I do. I would take people car shopping. I would negotiate the deal, and then they'd give me $100. So you're buying a car, right? So I'd be, all right, here's what you do. What do you want? You go, I want that car. All right, you come in, you follow me. You don't say a word.
Yeah.
Let me do all the talking. And I did this like 7 or 8 times, man. But then there was a local dealership. I'm sure they're good people, so I'm not going to rat them out. But banned. They banned. They're like, no, we're not dealing with it. Get rid of him. He's gone. That guy, gone. Mm-hmm. I got thrown out of a dealership just because I was like playing this like car agent dude. They were like, what is this? This guy keeps lurking around. Had a fake name. I called myself Mitch McDeere. I wouldn't give my real name. Mitch McDeere was Tom Cruise in The Firm. I don't know why. Just one day I picked that name.
Perfect.
Love it. So
yeah.
Anytime like I'm filling out some spam email or something like, oh, you got to log in to get the discount code. Yeah, well, Mitch McDeere all the time. Mitch McDeere, and then the Funny Bones phone number. That's my And then my email is acemitch27@yahoo.com. That's it. That's all it is. It's not even a real address. So
that's perfect. I love that. Mitch McDeere.
Mitch McDeere, man. Tom Cruise, The Firm. Great movie, by the way.
It is a great movie.
So fun. He's running a lot in it.
All right, so the whole concept behind the podcast, 30 minutes.
Sorry, dude. Yeah,
no.
I
this
wander.
Is good. This is what I like. I like sitting down and just having fun, you know. But the whole idea behind the podcast is called The Best with the question mark, because anytime somebody tells you something's the best, it's just their opinion. There's no way to prove it right or wrong, you know. So I've got some questions I'll ask. Maybe we agree, maybe we don't. We have a fun little debate. It's kind of fun. If there's any questions that you don't want to answer or whatever,
nope, let it rip, baby.
Okay, I was curious about that because I know your podcast is going out on a network known for clean.
Yeah, it's going out on
so.
Nate Bargatze's YouTube channel.
I didn't know if you wanted to say.
Oh
that.
yeah,
so
it's Nate Land. He's like going to basically start like his own production company,
which
and
is
have
awesome.
other podcasts and. I don't know. He's just got a lot of stuff going on over there. And so, yeah, I mean, that's nice, man. I mean, the guy's an arena act, you know, and my dumb face is going to be on a thumbnail under his YouTube page. So
starting a production company is what, like I went to school to learn how to do this because that was my idea. I'm just 56 steps behind him. You know what I mean? So he's clearly, he's here and I'm starting here, you know, whatever. But all right, this is a quick one just to get. What is it? Let's see. There we go. Best Gatorade flavor.
Best Gatorade flavor, and the great question, because this is important to me, is
Or are you more of a Powerade man?
No, all right, so this is good. I'm glad we're talking about this. This is important. My girlfriend is the pickiest person in the planet with food and drink. However, her favorite is Powerade Zero Orange. Orange only, zero. And I will say, in terms of manipulation of, it tastes just like the sugar, like a real
Yeah.
one. I don't know. I don't even know if the Powerade Zero is really zero, man. I think there's a real sugar in it because it doesn't have like diet-like taste at all. So I will steal some of hers in a spare. But oh yeah, if I'm on my own on the road, the lemon lime all day. All day, man.
Really?
Yeah, man. I stand behind it.
I'm a big, so with Gatorade, blue.
Blue would be.
I forget, Glacier Freeze, I think is the official name, but I'm always going light blue Gatorade. Back when, in like the heavy drinking days, if Pedialyte wasn't available, blue Gatorade. That's next. That's so much better. When you would open up a fridge, there were days where you open your eyes and the sun hurts, and you just see that cool, chilled Pedialyte in there. I wonder if the company knows that it's like, all right, 40% of our sales come from kids with the flu.
Right.
The other 60 is from just hungover Marines or college kids or whatever.
Just trying to rehydrate.
Yeah, just trying to regain consciousness. Okay, this one. All right, I've got a couple questions because I know you, and I tried to make some specific to you. Best Buffalo Bills player of all time.
Man.
So we've got. I know it's hard.
That is so brutal.
I've got a picture over here. It's hard. So I know it's hard for you to think of if I said what's the best movie of all time, you'd be like, I forgot all movies.
Yeah. No. This I can.
But Terrell Owens. Thurman Thompson would probably be mine.
Thurman Thomas.
Thomas. That's what it is. Thomas. Yeah. Sorry. But he's the one I remember the most, I think.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I grew up that era. That was the 90s when they went 4 straight Super Bowl losses, which was just as a kid. So, just so painful, man. There's that fine line of favorite player. Are you going favorite player? You're saying, am I favorite player or who I think the best? I'll probably just, you know what, I'll answer. I'm just going to answer. I'm going to go with Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith was a defensive end, and he was an absolute terror on that field, man. And
I feel like defensive ends in the 90s to early 2000s were so much more fun to watch. They were, maybe even before the 90s, because I feel like recently the rules have changed and they're kind of, I feel like the game's slowing down a little bit.
I agree. Yeah.
A defensive end, man, if you had a good defensive end on your team, that was so much fun.
Oh yeah, I swear, that they could make the team. They single-handedly could be responsible why the team's good. Man.
Oh yeah,
on 22 players on the field at one time, and you could have Bruce Smith out there. Howie Long, I think he was a defensive end. That was the same time for the Raiders. That was a guy who was another one. He was a monster, man. Mm-hmm. Just chucking offensive linemen, man. That's what was so fun about Bruce. I mean, if you YouTube Bruce Springsteen. YouTube Bruce Springsteen tackling Jeff George. I can't think of a 90s quarterback. If you there's some great montage things of just Smith just ripping guys apart, man. And I'd probably go Smith. I mean, Jim Kelly obviously is an easy one. You have Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas.
I forgot Terrell Owens. I forgot he played for the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills had I swear here's what happened to the Bills this is maybe not in the last 5 years, but from 2000 2015. Whoever was good in the last 5 years, when they started, they were on the Bills for me. Marshawn Lynch was on the Bills. Mm-hmm. People forget. People are like, what? He was on the Bills for 2 or 3 years. Terrell Owens. They just had a bunch of players, and then I don't know if they just didn't want to pay him or what, and then they would just go off and have 10 times better of a career. But there was also stories of people saying Buffalo is not the most desirable place. If you can play NFL football in any market, one, you're dealing with just shit weather.
Yeah, I think it was Marshawn Lynch who said when he got drafted, they were like, oh, the Buffalo Bills, and he was like, where's that? And they're like, New York, and he's like, I'm going to New York City.
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
And then he lands, and it's negative 10 degrees, and he's like, what?
And by the way, the amount of times that has happened that I say, where are you from? Rochester, New York. Mm-hmm. Instantly, I'd say half the time will be some like, oh man, I don't know, man, that subway system out there is crazy. Like, I don't know what if they think it's a borough. Like, I'm nowhere near New York City, man. It's like 6 hours northwest. So that's why I say now, anytime it's like, where are you from? Just Western New York. I just go Western New York because it would just be like saying like I'm from Kansas City. And you're like, man, how do you deal with that arch? And you're like, it's not the right city. Just flat out not the right city, man. It's not the right city.
My thing that has always annoyed me about people from New York City is that they talk about the boroughs like everybody else knows. Like, we've heard the names, but I don't know where they are. So when people are like, oh, well, you got to go to Brooklyn, and then you got to go down to Queens, and you got to cut over to Harlem, and then you got to go over to, Manhattan.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And you're like, I don't know what that.
Yeah.
Like, I could do that too. Be like, well, I'm in Ladue, and then I have to go to Maryland Heights, and then I'll go out to St. Charles and Wentzville.
Infuriating.
And they just expect you to know what you're.
It's all true. Like, because Harlem is like basically in Manhattan. It just like starts, I think, after like 110th Street or something. But then, Staten Island's its own. The whole it's all a complicated mess. And it does bug me about New York people. They just think like this is national knowledge that everyone should care about and want to know.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't. Stop it. It drives me nuts. I mean, I guess if you'll see a comic do a bit about like very New York centric, and I'm like, man, this better be something that, okay, this is common sense knowledge. Like if you're talking about Times Square, something that everybody knows. But I've seen there are a lot of acts. Man, I live in New York, and so I was riding the train, and I'm like, which is actually fine. I mean, if the joke's there, the joke's there. But sometimes there'll be a little inside baseball where it's like, oh man, I can see why that thing murders in New York City,
right?
But it's probably only a 7 in Topeka, So.
yeah. I went to New York City in January, and I was like, I just want to go. It's the comedy. What. I don't want to say Mecca, but it kind of is. It's a great place. You can do 9 sets a night every day of the week and stuff like that. Now you're going to be in the basement of a laundromat, or you're going to be, in the back of a bookstore, or whatever. Yeah. Like they're not glorious things, but I mean it's like you want to go do it. You want to say you did comedy in New York. That's a big bucket list thing. And then I got there and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm in St. Louis. Like,
man. I mean, it's just I can't speak on doing stand-up there because I never lived in New York City. I mean, today, 15 years ago, you're probably telling a young comic, get to New York.
Oh yeah.
Or LA.
LA.
I was always told years ago, if you want to maybe get on television faster, maybe get to LA. If you just want to be a killer comic, and then see what happens, go to New York, and then like you said, man, you could work around, you could get 12 sets a night, it's like you said, man, you're doing stand up, behind the pins in a bowling alley, you're like, what the heck, but you at least might get some swings but I don't know, nowadays, everything, there's such a shift change with the social media stuff, and like, I mean, you can live, Nate Bargatze lives in Nashville. He's probably top 5 biggest touring,
like you said,
comedian
selling out arenas.
Selling out arenas, man. I know obviously the big spike to Austin now, with that whole thing. I mean, that's obviously a huge, I mean, I would say that might be a hotter place than New York.
Yeah, well, we went down there last year. Myself, Ronaldo, a couple other comics from like our class went down there just to see what it was like, and it was... I mean, there's 40 open mics, there's 1,000 places to get on stage, but you're going to do 1-minute sets, you're going to be one of 75 on a list, it's going to be, And I was like, I don't see how this is sustainable. Like, I'm sure if you're invited to go, you know, like if you're made a name for yourself or you're featuring for somebody or, you know, you're doing Cap City or the Mothership or, you know, some of the other like clubs they have there, Creek in the Cave.
Yeah.
I bet it's great. I bet it's fantastic. But if you're, you know, no name open mic comic, you know, and you go down there, get ready to fight. You got to fight because they put that list out. And I took a video of it just because I thought it was so crazy. It's just a piece of paper with a pen. They put it on a table, and then they go, and everybody runs.
Oh, man.
And it reminds me of, like, have you ever sprinkled fish food in a pond? Yeah. And all the fish just come to the surface like that, and it just starts a feeding frenzy?
Yeah.
And it was like, this is so wild to me. I don't.
Well, dude, yeah. I mean, well, it just shows you too, man. When I started, it's like, guys, at my level, I feel like when you're like, we had a little fear in us, man. Like stand up was kind of this scary thing. I mean, it's exciting, but you're like, okay, man, I'm gonna probably get up there. If I get on the list, I get 4 minutes. I'm gonna most likely eat shit. You know, I know how to tell a joke right. And I just remember there wasn't like a huge crop when I started of like other guys kind of like with me. There was, you know, in terms of like, okay, we're both like, you know, 6 months in. And now I just feel like, man, you just turn your head. I mean, you just go to the grocery store and just be like, anyone a comic?
Yeah.
15 people shopping. But yeah, no, I've done it. Yeah, I've done it. I've done it. And I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit of a snob about it because I can say I'm a comedian now, but I wouldn't call myself one. My whole rule was you had to get paid, but I was like, if you pay your electric bill with your stand-up money, that's how you can justify you're a comedian.
I understand. So people always like yell at me kind of for this because I say, well, I'm not a professional yet because I'm not paying my bills strictly from comedy. Once you're paying your bills, then you're a professional. You know what I mean? But they're like, oh, you got to have that mindset that you're a professional, whether you're getting paid or not. And it's like, yeah, but we gotta put a bar to pass at least a little bit. You know?
Right.
We gotta make a difference between a guy who's done it twice and a guy who's selling out arenas. You know, we've got to find a way to draw a line in the sand somewhere.
Yeah, man. Well, it'll cheapen the brand of the entertainment if you have 8,000 knuckleheads running around and be like, yeah, I'm a stand-up comedian. I mean, I can't go on stage and just pluck a guitar for 10 seconds and say I'm a guitarist.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Just, you know, I could do. You know, that'd be something that'd be great. Just go to a music open mic. Like, can you play any instruments? Music?
No,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
so bad at music.
Same, man. I love it. I probably love music more than stand-up, man. I just cannot. But I get to open for Nikki Glazer here and there, and she plays guitar. Well, she's got a song out.
Yeah.
It's what's wild. But she's just like, she's showing me like these chords. She's like, hold your finger here and hit the fret and like using all the guitar. And I did it. I got like this one chord, man. I was so excited. But I can't go around telling people, man, I play the guitar.
Yeah.
That's not everyone is doing it, but it's starting to creep into that territory of just a lot of people call themselves. I mean, the amount of people I meet locally, like, I don't know, like somebody who works in my aunt's real estate office would be like, hey, do you know my nephew Kenny? No. Oh, really? Yeah, he's a comedian. Where? St. Louis. What's his name? I don't know. Kenny Johnson? I'm just making a name up.
Yeah.
Yeah, never heard of him.
No.
Never heard of him. Mm-mm. I've been at the Funny Bone for about 13 years.
Yeah.
And where does he play? Oh, everywhere. And I'm like,
okay, yeah.
And I don't know why. It shouldn't really bother me because at the end, it's like your work will, you know, it'll speak. If I mean, you reflect and see what you did in the last year. You're like, okay, I'm happy with what this is. All right, now let's do this and make it better. And you know, so I mean, I said at the end of the day, call yourself whatever the hell you want. You know, I don't know why it really makes a difference, but
that's how I've started measuring myself. Was I realized that I was paying too much attention to other people and like what other people were accomplishing, and it was making me feel like, oh man, I'm not doing anything. And I was like, I got to change the way I think about it. And just like, so like September last year, I made like, X number of dollars doing comedy. This year, it moved up. It like doubled. And I was like, that's progress.
Beautiful, man.
So
Yeah.
next year, hopefully it doubles again, and hopefully you can just keep doing that. And so, yeah, but I just feel like there's got to be.
And really, it's not just, the money can be a trick sometimes. Because sometimes you'll have like some like random like corporate gig, and you're like, oh my, I get to open this corporate show, and I get like $3,000 to do 10 minutes, and it's like, it might be, it's probably a hell gig. It's probably not something that you enjoy, but it's really, to me, it's like, have I gotten better as a stand-up? That's just try.
Right.
That's like where I look at it. I was looking at I was like, man, I sold a lot of shirts this last weekend at the Funny Bone. And I was like, man, I guess they just really like the shirt. And I'm like, but maybe you're just a little better than you were, a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, where, I would put value on, well, how many shirts I sold means how well I did on stage. And I don't know if it's the right correlation, but I was almost like, the heck with the shirts. It's like maybe you're just a better comedian. That to me is what, and that's something I don't see. My deal is I work at the Funny Bone. I bartend there. I love it. It's a great setup, man. I've met so many, just the contacts over the years and hanging out with Norm Macdonald and just Pauly Shore, just like these crazy stories. But there's that thing, too, where it's like on your off night, it's like, you want to go do a guest spot or, is open mic? No, I don't want to be anywhere because that's my job.
Yeah.
And that's my own that's my own demon right there. I don't have which I kind of got to get back to being like, no, man, it's what you do. You got to go up, do 5 minutes and then leave. You don't have to hang out all night. And I'm not taking a shot at the club or the comics at all.
No, I know.
It's just, it's where you work.
Yeah.
So it's just that thing. It's like, oh man, if I could just like transport this into a different building, even a different room, the whole concept of the club. Now I don't feel like I'm just at my job.
Right.
I feel like I'm getting to do just stand up only, That's always been a tricky thing. But I would say at the end of the day, there's been a net gain to being an employee at a comedy club versus
you're probably like me because like when I worked at a comedy club.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And when there were nights where like I'd have the night off, but I'd want to see the comic that was coming through that week. And so I would go to the club to watch the show, and then you start seeing, the rush comes through and stuff, and you're like, let me jump back there and just make a bucket. I'll help them out real quick. And next thing you know, you've been behind the bar
right, man,
30 minutes because you're like,
yes.
I work here. These are my friends. I'm not going to sit here and watch them struggle. Like, I want to help out, But,
yeah, I mean, well, then next time the Funny Bone's kind of like, I mean, that's a real, like, anyone knows that club. There's, 7 employees there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and it's like, I've been there close to 15 years. I'm still, like, 5th in line of seniority.
yeah,
and there's, like, less than 10 people that work there, I mean, it is, like.
Well, you could be there 30 years and still be.
Yeah, exactly, man. Right.
Yeah.
No, man, they're, like, made out of Kevlar over there, man.
You know what's funny is that Patty is just as famous as, like, just about any comic that's come out of St. Louis. I've heard Patty's name on 6 different podcasts.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's just what we've heard.
Yeah.
Who knows how many we haven't heard?
Yeah.
Dan McKenzie.
Yeah.
My buddy in the wheelchair. I mean, this guy. I think Chad Daniels. I know somebody can verify this. Basically, has a bit that I think it was written around Dan McKenzie. It was like about.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
I've had multiple people tell me this. I don't know the name. I don't know what it's on or whatever, but I know Chad Daniels does his thing on it.
One of my first times ever at the Funny Bone was watching Dan and Joe Linnig go back and forth with each other.
Vicious.
And I was just standing there and I'm like, what is this place? Like,
yeah. See, because we forget. As a player, we're like, because we dunk on each other real hard.
Yeah.
Now, Dan is in a wheelchair. So anybody with any moral compass, you're going to see somebody talking, like a jerk to him, You're gonna, that person's gonna be like, God, what is Sean O'Brien? What a real. Oh, I got caught years ago. I was sitting there ripping on him or saying something like, and I mean, we go hard, but I swear, man, it's all in love. Anybody at that club would do anything for that kid. And he loves it. He wants to be one of the comics and just one of the, like, I'm in the ball breaking crew. And I don't know. I said something real cruel. Like, I don't know, man. I don't even know. Something that was completely inappropriate about, like, well, why don't you walk on stage? Or, oh, I guess you can't, or something. Which I understand that would be very disturbing if I said that to anyone else. But Dan's like my best buddy.
Yeah,
so we love. And some lady heard that at the bar. I just wasn't paying attention. And she's like, "You're a real jerk. You're a real jerk." What? And I go, and I'm like, and then I'm like an idiot trying to explain. I'm like, no. It's just a thing we do.
You don't know Dan.
You don't know Dan. And actually, he's a real asshole, believe it or not. Like, don't let the chair fool you. That guy actually is a piece of shit. I can show you. I can just need to talk to him. You try him. You test him for 5 minutes. So, but I remember she just, there was no spinning out of it. There's no way in context to explain to somebody, oh, this is like this character ball breaky thing we do, all in good fun. If people don't, if they're not in that world, understand it. They just think you're just being some asshole who's a paraplegic. But I love him, man. Nah,
I love that casting. It's, what's weird is that the Funny Bone was the first club I ever got on stage at, and even though it's 100 miles from my house, and I worked at a comedy club, in my hometown, I still consider Westport like my home club.
Yeah.
Like, I still consider it because it's where I started. And it's like when I walk in, I know everybody's names and I know all the servers and I know, don't get in Patty's way or don't,
That's pretty much it. That's the main rule. If you can just not be in her way.
Don't interrupt Matt while he's playing Golden Tee.
Definitely don't do that.
Don't get in Patty's way.
Yeah.
Don't pick a fight with Joe.
And
you just
and then
you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, dude, I forget, man. Yeah, you got it. You do grind, man. That is a grind. Yeah, every time I see it open mic, I'm like, oh, this guy is gonna spend 4 hours tonight driving just to get up here and do this set, man.
It was,
which I tip my hat to you, man.
There are some nights where I'll crash here on the couch, I've got a family member who does have a place nearby that I can go and shower at, and if occasionally I can stay the night if he's that's just a small like 2-bedroom apartment, and so if his if his kids are there or whatever, I'll sleep here, but if they're not, I can crash there on the couch or whatever. So it's not like, in all honesty, now in the very beginning, the first probably 4 years, it was drive up. Do your mic,
drive man.
Home, drive up, and that was taxing. But now it's not that bad. So I feel a little stolen valor.
Nah, you're doing the hustle, man. Yeah, but, you're doing a hell of a job too, man. I know you had a week up there. I don't know, like in the last 2 months. Would that be reasonable to say? Well, you were up there, but Matt told me, gave me a good thumbs up.
Well, I was really so speaking of the way people are at the Funny Bone, when I was at the bar and he was like, "Hey, you did pretty good this weekend," and I just paused because I was waiting for the.
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for the backhand of it, and he was like, "No, seriously."
Yeah, which means you probably did very well, man.
I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." I was like, and then Jack came up to me. He was like, "Did Matt give you a compliment?" And I was like, "I think he did."
Yeah, they're tough to get. I mean, he really, he watches maybe 2 to 3 minutes, if that, but he can just. He's been around it so long, man. I mean, he can just feel the crowd and then just hear reaction-wise and just be like, oh, no, okay, this guy's getting these type of laughs. These are, I think you would say, all right, these are like almost headliner laughs. And then these are, this is, that might be a feature laugh. That might be an MC laugh. But it's that nice thing when you're like, oh, man, I'm getting the type of laughs that somebody would be as a headliner. That's
that was one of the biggest moments probably for me, like in my career was, I've been going to the Funny Bone 6 years. At that point, and Matt pulled me aside and he was like, "How much time do you have?" I was like, 25, 30 minutes. And he was like, "I want you to do 20, not a minute more, not a minute less. This is your test," or whatever. And I was like, holy shit, it happened. Like that. And it's like, and then of course all your comic buddies are like, you got moved up to feature, and they're like, oh, you got moved up to feature, and it's like a big promotion at some office,
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
get a company car and new benefits and stuff like that.
But it
It's like-
kind of is, man. I mean, it is in
kinda-
a sense. It's like, all right, you get a little more time. You don't have to do the cold open. You still don't have, people running late and sitting down. And I mean, there is such a difference of going first to second, man. If
it is so much better.
2-person shows where it's like I'm a host and feature.
Yeah.
Such a different animal than just having an MC and then you just going up second.
It
I
is.
mean, vastly different. You would not think it would be that big of a change.
Well, you gotta
but-
like I run a stopwatch to keep track of everybody's time, and the drink specials, and the servers' names, and the the tickets at the end, the charity tickets, and there's so many things involved and everything.
Yeah.
And you always kind of got to be ready to like go back, or if like somebody's this or that or whatever. But feature, it's like the host warms them up, you go up, you do your song and dance for
Yeah.
25 minutes.
No
and
check
then
drop.
You just get to go chill.
Yeah.
You
You don't
go
close
watch
the show.
whatever sports are on at the bar.
Oh, it's great, man.
Wait for the
Yeah.
end of the show. Hey, thanks for coming out. Hey,
Oh
I
yeah,
appreciate
man.
you.
If my
Hey.
bills are on or whatever, I remember I would pause the game, do the feature set, get off stage, just be like, I'm out. Go home. If they were doing like a Sunday night football or something,
Yeah.
and be like, all right, there's first quarter, pause, walk in, set, get off, leave, beautiful. So, yeah, no, man, that was happy to hear that for you though, man. I'm glad
No,
to hear
it was
that,
a
yeah.
big moment. That was cool. I wish I could hang that up with like some of that stuff on the
Yeah.
wall. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
On this date, in the year of our Lord, Matt Behrens asked me to feature. Just put it up on.
Dude, when I got asked to MC, so it's Greg Warren. This is, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. So Greg and Matt, I'm bartending. They pulled me aside, and they're like, "Hey, man, we're thinking about having you host for Greg's week." This is Greg and Matt. I'm like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Okay." And at this point, I haven't hosted a regular week. I've had guest spots.
Yeah.
I did guest spots just on on paid show, like Friday Late Show guest spot, but I haven't had a full week. And they're like, "We're really considering having you do this." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm very, very open to this consideration. Yeah, whatever you need." And they're like, "We do need." They're like, "So, look, man. They're like, we're not trying to make this weird, but you can do 10 minutes." I'm like, "Yeah, I can do 10." They're like, "All right." Greg's like, "You got to do it now." I go, "What?" He goes, "We're at the podium at the Funny Way." He goes, "Just do your act right now. I just want to make sure we're not like stepping on things, and because I haven't heard all 10." I'm like, "What?" I was like, "So you want me to run my set?" He goes, "Yes." And Matt goes, "Dude, trust me, it's not that hard. Just act like you're on stage." I'm like, "What?" I was like, "All right." I was like, "So, guys, who's got a Facebook account? I have this thing." And then they go, "Ah, you stupid bitch." I go, "You were going to sit there and run." All just to heckle me, man. Sheer agony, man. I'm sitting there, I'm sweating, and I'm like, well, I guess this is protocol. This is how you break in the system. Running my dumb bit. And I remember I had some dumb joke on Facebook, and I remember I literally go, "So you guys have a Facebook account?" Like I asked the crowd. That's what I was doing today. I was asking the crowd. "Anybody got a Facebook account?" I hate that I do that too. I ask questions. It drives me nuts. It's like my biggest pet peeve. And I do it. I'm turning around doing it, man. I do it with my dumb dog joke. I'm like, "Anyone got a dog?" It's like, who cares? You're doing the joke anyway, Sean.
Yeah.
Who cares? Why are you asking? Why you ever go grocery shopping? Yeah, they have, man.
I do the same thing. And I'm like, I gotta stop. I gotta stop opening it up. Because as soon as you open it up to questions, people are like, "Oh, it's interactive," and it's like, no.
Yeah, it's
no.
interactive, but it's like, it's just, to me, it's sometimes like, if it serves purpose, like somebody like asks a question, and they're like, "Woo," and they're like, "Okay, what kind of Gatorade do you like?" Or what, you know what I mean? Like if you're actually going to them on a response of them saying yes, you're like, "No, I'm asking because I want a response from you." That makes total sense. But I always had this bad habit of just asking, like, there was one guy, I'll remain keep his nameless, sweet kid, but he would do it on like, he'd be like not ironically, he'd be like, "So anyone ever been to Walmart?" Like, you're like, "Yeah, man, yeah, we've been to Walmart." And he just, I don't know if it was like a nervous tick, he'd just be like, "So anybody ever Anybody ever drove a car? Just like every and then you're like, and you know, I don't think he does stand up anymore, but really nice kid. It was just you. But that was one of those things like you'd go into the room just to watch him, and he'd be like, "Hey, dude, let's watch so and so ask his questions tonight."
That's another thing I was talking about with somebody recently is that comedy's the only job where you're like other comics will quit. You're like your coworkers will quit, and you won't know for months. You know, whereas like if we worked in an office and the front desk lady's not that, you'd be like, "Hey, where's Brenda?" And they'd be like, "Oh, she quit." And you're like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, dude.
But comedy,
it's so true, man.
People just stop showing
They
up.
just stop.
And then one day you're like, "Hey, who was that guy that had the bit about his penis?" Like, you know, and they're like, "Oh yeah, whatever happened to that guy?" And it's like, I guess he quit.
Yeah, man. And I guess it's just who knows. Everyone's life's a full-time gig, man. It's like. But there are some guys and girls that I saw, like, they were, like, really chugging along, and then it's just one day. I just, you look back and like, oh, yeah. Excuse me. This person hasn't been here in, like, 3 months, and just, because that's the thing. I've been bartending open mics for 10, 12 years, and it's just, I mean, over the years, I mean, how many people I've met, and.
Oh, yeah. How many?
Some put in 2 months, some put in 2 years. You just, some stop for 6 months and then come back. You just don't know what it is. I mean, it's also tricky too. I think sometimes there's frustration about not getting on the list. It's a very, you got 50 people signing up. You got 10 that can get up.
Yeah.
And you got another 5 of local regulars getting up.
First timers automatically get on. If you bring people, you get on.
Right.
If you haven't made the list in 4 weeks, you get on. And then. So it's like once you get that chunk, there's like 4 slots available for like regulars, Yeah. And it's hard. You can get, and it's not like a personal thing of like,
no, man.
Hey, you didn't get picked because we don't like you. Although I'm sure there's some people out there who might not.
Maybe one or two. Man.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah.
Well, one thing that I love, I don't love it because it's a shitty thing to do, but when you see like a first timer or a new guy and they don't know that you're a comic and so they go to the bar and they order a drink and they don't tip.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
man.
can just see it in your face. And
boy,
you won't say anything. You'll just be like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. And I'm like, oh man, you just ended your career. Like,
my problem, yeah, I try not to be a real bitch about it. What bugs me is that it's like you're already getting a deal.
Yeah.
Like the comic, there's already comedian pricing. I know it's something like half off. It's like it's pretty fair. I've been to multiple clubs that it's like unless you're on the show, man. And I'm not talking like a professional show. I mean it's open mic. It's the price is the price. You're paying what the people pay. Like so that there's just no deals. So it's like, and like I think a beer is like $3. So it's like. I don't know, it's that thing if like you pay with a 5. Most guys are right. They just throw the 5. You're good.
Yeah.
There you go. Great deal. You get a good deal. I'm getting $2 every beer. Some pull the $1 back. That's fine. No problem with that. No problem with that at all. You gave me the $1. It's just when you put the 5 and you pull the 2 singles off, and it's like you chiseler, man. Like what are you doing, man? What are you going out for? Why are you drinking? You can't spend 4 on a beer with tip but that's just like. American culture is it's just tipping is what you do. And then you also just got to take it in the face when you don't get it. There's nothing you can do. There's no legal ramification. There's nothing. Now, I don't think I've ever done it, but I mean, I could go to Matt and be like, that guy.
Yeah. I was about to say, I don't think
that guy can pound sand. Don't put him up because he didn't tip. Because to me, it's like now I'm being more ridiculous than he is not tipping. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't think that you would do that, but I can just see. I don't know. I've seen it happen once in particular, and I remember looking at that guy and just being like, I was about to say something, and then I think it might have been Scott James, like pulled him aside and was like, "Hey man, you fucked up."
Yeah, one guy it was egregious. It was I don't know. It was within the past year. Some guy was over, and he just would not leave a buck. He would. It was like I don't know whatever he's drinking, whatever vodka cran. And it's just like, $3, no tip. $3, no tip. $3, no tip. $3. What the? How far are we gonna go here, man? You know, I was like, and more. It's not so much that I want the dollar. It's like, how come you don't have to play by the rules? Everyone else does, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, no, you're not skating in here, getting a value and a better deal because you're quote on the list and not paying it. I don't even care about me getting the dollar. I'll give it to somebody else. It's like you're tipping though, man. I'm just gonna. So I
It's just
try not to
principle.
say. I try not to make it. And I will say 99% are great. It's never a problem. Some guys they tip too much. It's just like, oh, dude, this is not right. You don't need that. I feel like I'm stealing from you. So, so the vast majority are really good. But you do get to see it too with the headliners. Like you kind of know, if I'm working the bar on a week that I don't have any stand-up shows, you can know like, okay, that guy, very cheap. The guy who's a multimillionaire, yeah, he does not leave anything. It's And then you have like the low end, like just the grinder headliner,
the road dog.
the road dog coming in, and he throws you like 20 a show, and he had 2 beers. You're like, oh man, I feel bad taking it. It's too much. So
Those are the best. But those are my favorites though. Like those comics are the ones that I like the most.
oh, almost always the best, man. Are the road grinders.
And I mean, I would.
Always.
And the thing is, I would love to name names, but it almost feels kind of like an insult to call something like. The road dogs, the guys that are,
Yeah. Well, it's like, man.
But
I
still.
know what you're saying though. Yeah, and it's like, man, I don't know where my career is gonna go. My problem is I just am not aggressive with social media. I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this podcast will be able to kind of replace that and be kind of my thing of putting my name quote out there. I just did not. Eric, I look 5 minutes a day. 5 to 10 minutes a day I'm on social media, and that's it, man. That's it. I just don't look anymore, man.
So that's the whole reason I started this, was just to chop up clips and put it out on social media and try to like get my name out there, find a fan base, find people that might want to come see me do stand up.
Right.
Because that's my goal. Stand up is the goal. Podcasting, this is kind of like it's like a fun venture, but it's not my goal, but I was like, I'm spending way too much time on social media. I put a limit on it. I put a lock on it.
Oh,
So,
do you? Yeah, you have.
So
locked.
after an hour a day, it shuts down. I missed out on like 3 shows because my social media would lock and people would send me messages and be like, hey, could you fill in tonight? Hey, could you do this show tomorrow?
Interesting.
Hey,
Okay.
And then you the next day it unlocks and you're like, oh yeah, I'd love to be there. And they're like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear back from you. I filled the spot.
So the only way you
And
could
so it's
fix
like-
that is to go into your settings and actually unlock it.
yeah,
So it literally, if you hit Instagram, it just won't open.
yeah.
That's
it
why-
just
that's cool.
it's
I
like,
like it.
you can see the emblem for the app, but it's like it's like doled out and there's like a little lock in the bottom corner.
If that just isn't a metaphor for the times we live in, too, man. I
I
mean,
know.
good for you,
But-
but it is that just shows you the level of
Who would have thought
compulsion.
who would have thought limiting my social media would be somehow less productive and make you lose out on like real opportunities? I could talk comedy with you all day long.
Yeah.
but-
Sorry, man.
No,
I get
that's
down
fine.
these wormholes, man.
Like I said, that's the best part about it is
Yeah.
you just go, you just wherever it goes. Best football movie.
Let's see.
So
Best football
up there
movie.
on the screen, I've got, for anybody listening, I've got Remember the Titans, The Replacements, Friday Night Lights, and Any Given Sunday. You don't have to choose one of those 4.
You know what
by the
sucks,
way.
man? I have. I saw The Replacements. It's been a long time. I think I saw parts of Titan. I have not watched Friday Night Lights, or Any Given Sunday. And I heard Any Given Sunday is incredible.
I would say that Any Given Sunday is probably my pick for that, although The Replacements is probably, right there. Is a very close second. I like The
Yeah,
Replacements because it's funny.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's got
yeah. I remember
fun
that,
moments in
yeah.
it. But Any Given Sunday, just such a good,
It is, yeah.
such a good movie. Like,
Yeah. Is that the Jamie Foxx and
Jamie Foxx, LL
Cameron
Cool
Diaz?
J,
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid, Al
Pacino.
Pacino.
Yeah.
Al Pacino
I gotta
gives
watch
this
it.
like halftime speech, this locker room speech, one of the best sports speeches
Dude,
of like all time.
I know what you're talking about, man. They'll play. I don't know where I was. Buffalo at a Bills game, or they played it at some stadium arena, like at like a halftime or something. I remember seeing. I know exactly. Yeah, what you're talking about.
So good. And
Yeah.
It's like every time you watch it, you're like, yeah, it just gets you motivated.
Just get you amped up. I mean, yeah, I'd probably go. Gosh, why am I drawing blanks on football movies right now? Admittedly, I'm not the biggest movie guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I don't like movies. But there's some stuff that I haven't seen that people are like, man, what does it matter with you, dude? Like I have not seen Braveheart. Like that's, and not because I'm like, oh, that movie, I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I see like the time of a film and I panic. My ADD head, I'm like, that's close to 2.5, right? I don't know if I could sit through it.
The crazy thing about Braveheart is that it won like best Oscar when it came out, but you go back and watch it now, and it's so bad. Like it's not that great. Like the story is very interesting.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that you're like, this is all right. That's so cheaply made. That's very fake. That's very like there's a part in the movie where this isn't spoiling anything, but he's on a horse.
Yeah.
And the horse jumps like out of a barn into a lake or something like that.
Yeah.
And the horse is just like a wooden silhouette of a horse. And you can see as he's falling, like the horse is just,
oh,
like that. You're like, oh, this is so fake.
just some lazy.
Yeah. And there's like moments where like someone gets stabbed or whatever, and they're like, ah, like it's like the fakest.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
And it's like, it looks like ketchup's coming out. And you're like, oh, in the 90s, I'm sure this looked fantastic, but now.
No, man, yeah. You ever go to IMDb and like watch a movie and then go to the goofs after or whatever?
I love that.
Oh,
That's
so much fun, man.
My wife gets so mad at me because I'll spend half the movie just being like, hey, did you know that for this scene, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm just watching the movie.
Right.
Just leave me alone, Eric. I don't want to.
I know, man. I know I'm doing that. That's another problem. It's back to these damn phones, man. I can't even sit down and watch a movie, and then I am in the movie investigating the movie. It's like, no, watch the damn movie, then get into it. So I'd probably say, though, in closing, I don't know if I always enjoyed Unnecessary Roughness. It's kind of like that Scott Bakula.
I haven't seen that one.
Sinbad.
In a very
Yeah,
long
we're going
time.
back, man. He's like he was like a college pro, and then like college pro. What am I talking about? He was great in college, Bakula, and then could have went pro, I guess, but didn't to run his father's like farm, and now he's like, I don't know, a student again, back in college and qualified for another year. So he's like this 35-year-old playing like quarterback for some like piece of shit team, and so I don't know. It's like really funny in like a 90s way funny.
Yeah,
like it's got that classic like 90s type of humor.
I almost put
So-
Waterboy on there, just because it is a
count that.
football movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how great the football in it is, but it's a funny movie. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? What's the best concert you've ever been to?
God, great question. I mean, look, dude, music is my passion. The best concert I've ever been to has to be U2 at the Apollo in June of 2018 with about me and 200 other people. Nikki Glazer worked. It was a Sirius satellite thing. Nikki Glazer had some hookup. She had 2 tickets.
That's awesome.
She knows I'm a U2 fanatic. She's like, hey, can you get to New York like in 2 days? I'm like, yeah, why? And she's like, I got tickets if you want to see U2 at the Apollo. And I'm like, this isn't real. I was like, at the Apollo? Like, we were floor, dude, right there. I mean, right there. Right there. I mean, for like, arguably, U2 catches a lot of shit. They're not like in that Nickelback catching shit bad yet, but they get picked on because Bono runs his mouth and people get all sour. And that's a whole new topic. But, dude, regardless, the band's been around since 76, man. Got to give them their flowers. That band same band, 40-something years. The stadiums, arena, that thing, they sell all over the world. And here I am, 10 feet away from them at the Apollo.
You also saw him at the Sphere or whatever, didn't you?
Yeah, and
Did
then I
you
saw him
see
at the
that?
Sphere. Yeah, that was like just almost a year ago right now, man. I went out for like the 5th show. out to Vegas, and
That's got to be awesome. That
it's
has to
nuts,
be-
man. I mean, you gotta. It really is like just. It's like trying to describe like the coolest version of high def. You just can't do
Yeah.
it. You got to just literally see, they just transform this whole. I mean, you're like in this kaleidoscope almost, man. Like
Yeah.
you don't even feel like you're in a building. You're like it just translates to whatever world they're showing on this, on the wall. So it's, on this, sphere screen. And U2 was the first to use it. Which I guess, man, the feedback on them, it was good, but boy, I guess Fish and Grateful Dead crushed it. Now I think they just had UFC there a couple weeks ago.
Well, I feel like
Grateful,
well,
not Grateful, Eagles are there right now.
I feel like Grateful Dead and Fish are kind of drug bands, and so it's
Yeah.
like they're gonna have a lot of visuals and stuff like that. Whereas like U2 is like the music is the important part.
Yeah,
Grateful
yeah.
Dead is like, okay, this guy's gonna play guitar for the next 14 minutes, and it's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
one song,
Which is crazy because, by the way, it's built so it's in four. There's the GA floor,
Yeah.
and then there's four sections: 100, 200, 300, 400. And dude, let me tell you, 3 and 400. Holy moly, man! If you have a little fear of heights, stay away from 3 and 4, man. That is down. I'm like, which blew my mind. That I'm like, you're having the Fish. Grateful Dead, and people are sitting in 3 and 4 on God knows what, man. I don't know how they haven't been sued 1,000 times. I'm just saying it's so easy to bite it, man. It's
can imagine.
so easy to bite it. And I'm not too bad with heights, but man, we were in like high 300s, and I was like, God, what the heck, man? It's just the way it's angled, man. It's like you're not so much far from the stage as you're high from the
Yeah.
stage. You're just like way above it, man. I mean, it is up. And I mean, it is it's made me a little queasy, man.
I'm not a huge concert person, but the Sphere is one place I would love to go and just experience it.
You could, and you don't even have to. They run like some sort of like nature movie thing. It's all
yeah.
visuals. It's all like just like it looks like you're in outer space, and then
Yeah.
you're, I don't know, in like some sort of forest, and like it's some nature thing they got. It's like $100 to go, and they show a bunch of different. Just a bunch of like cool nature scenery stuff, but like in this just crazy, like that's the thing, like the quality of the picture is just so insane. It like looks more crisp than life itself, which is that's like almost the paradox of the thing. You're like, how is like it's like somehow clearer than like somebody's actual.
Was
face,
it almost like when it was over, were you almost like sad that you had to like leave and kind of leave this like surreal whatever?
Yeah, man,
experience,
that's
and
it.
now
You're just like, oh man, you see, I was there for U2. I really do love you. I would say though, when people went to see U2 at the Sphere, they were there for the Sphere and not so much U2. Like they liked U2, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
the Sphere. I know a lot of people who went to that tour that they did 40 shows. They didn't give a shit about U2, but they're like, I got to see what's going on, man. So I think that the draw is the Sphere itself, man.
Yeah.
That is what's getting people there.
It's almost like
And-
the feature. It's like U2 featuring the Sphere.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
really is, and because especially if you're in 3 and 4, man, it is high. I mean, you're not making out facial expressions like when you're in 3 and 400,
Right.
man. Now, basically, you are watching the show via watching the screen. When you're especially up in the high tops. So yeah, I mean, I was just so like, man, I know this band is in their mid-60s. The drummer was already out for back surgery, and so for me, it's all like, is this the last time? I mean, I've seen him like 25 times, so that's why I come over leave. Like, man, is this my last run with my guys here on YouTube? You just don't know, man. I mean, they're zillionaires. They don't need any more money, and they're old.
You got to respect that
they're
they're
old.
still doing it, and it's got to be for the love of the game.
Of
You know what I mean?
course,
It's
man.
like,
And
I've made more money than I need, but I love doing this.
yeah,
That's
man.
Why I keep
And it's
doing
just
it.
like, look, I don't know. I'm not like some music guru who know, like, I'm not. You can't like. I love music. I love music. I'm not great at talking about it, of like what makes a song great and all that. I don't know. I like what I like, but I'm telling you, I cannot think how many bands that formed in 1976. First album, I believe, was 80 and are still going today with the same core bandmates.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any right now. Like, I mean, the Stones, they lost their drummer, a year ago? It was Charlie Watts, I think.
Yeah.
I think he passed away. I'm just saying, like, well, either death gets you or there's a break. I think Jane's Addiction, did you see that? They got no fight on stage.
Yeah.
What's his name? Dave Navarro got Perry Farrell, whatever, slapped Navarro right in the face. I'd never seen anything that crazy before. I'm like, what is this?
I sent it to somebody. I was like, oh, look, James rock bottom. And but that just seems, it just seems like I don't know how you could, like, that's why I love comedy is like, if you get to do a weekend with somebody, it's like, you know, somebody you probably know, or, you know, you toured with Nikki, Nikki.
Yeah.
But I bet if, as much as I'm sure you love Nikki, if you had to do 52 weeks a year with her, you'd probably be like,
oh, dude, with
I
anybody,
gotta take a break. Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm
literally
saying.
any human being, like
anyone.
I think that's what is, helped my relationship with my girlfriend. Heather's great, but I get to go. We get a little bit of downtime, 2, 3, 4 days, and then you actually have reason to miss that person. You know? And I mean, I'm just such a, I can be such a piece of shit. I really can. I get crabby easily. I get mood sometimes. And I am hard. I mean, heck, even Tim, Greg, and me, like, starting this podcast, man. I mean, it's 3 of us comics. We're good friends, and we've been butting heads in some things, So as a band, I mean, I was talking to Tim Convey. My buddy Tim was in the band Ludo, and he's like, oh, dude, he goes, that is exactly what said the beauty of stand-up. He goes, like, it's funny. What you say in stand-up is, oh, it was great working with you. Like, if you were to open for John Morgan, like, oh, man, it was nice working with you. But it's really like, all I did was go before you. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even really, quote, work with you. Like, we're just on the same show together.
Yeah,
where like a band is like, that is working with them, man. You are working with each other when you're in a band. I saw Bare Naked Ladies last night, man, and there's like 6 of them, and one guy's like twirling crap around, another guy's doing handstands, and just all this like crazy, like. But everyone's got to be on board with that. Is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, like the lead singer, he's kind of like this funny, wacky guy, just kind of his thing. And I got to tell you real quick. My girlfriend likes Bare Naked Ladies. I've known they've been around 90s. We've all heard of them. And I guess the one guy, he got kicked out, I think, or something. He had like a drug problem. The one dude, and so I think the guy Ed, whoever the front man is now, he's a character. He's a personality for sure. And he goes, hey guys, you want to hear a joke? I'm like, well, shit, this is gonna be good. You got my attention. And it's at the Factory in St. Louis, not the Cheesecake Factory, the Factory. So I don't know, maybe a couple thousand-seater. And he goes, I was at a library. I bet. Let's see if you can guess the punchline. He goes, a guy was at a library, and he goes, yeah, let me get a cheeseburger, chocolate shake, Coke Zero. You got Coke Zero? No, just regular Coke. That's fine. Order of fries. And then the woman goes, sir, you're at a library. And then he goes, sorry, let me get a Coke Zero, 2 fries. Mm-hmm. And it ain't shit, as it should have. I was just like, I knew it was coming. I mean, there was that reaction of the crowds like,
Yeah, as soon as you
and
said,
I'm like, you kind of.
This is the library, I was like, oh, he's going to whisper it.
There you go.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. Street jokes are fine, but if the person is already inserting it, you can't tell it's street joke.
Yeah.
You can't tell that street joke, man. You got to tell something better. But that's like the type of guy he is. And sorry, I just go on like these tangents, and I know we were over here, and now I'm over here talking about Bare Naked Ladies. I don't even know what my point was. Damn it. I'm sorry, dude. I wandered off. I was to whatever we're talking about. The touring. I mean, it's just we're talking about the Jane's Addiction thing, and I'm like, it's like, yeah, you are kind of your own thing upstate. I mean, you direct, produce. You are everything on stage. That's, I think, the beauty. There is nobody. You're not theoretically really working for anybody. I mean, you got to do well to assume the club will have you back, but that's pretty much it, man. If you just that's why I love the simplicity of stand-up, man.
Yeah.
The simplicity is a microphone,
there's no sound.
And
I don't have to
the
tune my
sound
guitar.
check.
Yeah. I mean, you might sound check for comedy is just like, does it sound good in the back?
Yeah.
All right, I think it's good.
Yeah, right.
Let's go.
Yeah. And that's where I'm like, man, I guess I forget how easy. And then, then I'll, like, whatever, go somewhere with Greg or Nikki, and, you're seeing, like, at the airport, you're like, oh, yep, that's definitely, oh, that's a guitar case. That's another guitar. Oh, that's something to do with musical. And then they got those big black boxes on stage. They're wheeling around. It's just such a different animal,
in Busch Stadium right now, they're setting up for Billy Joel and Sting. They're going to be here this weekend.
Oh, is that this weekend?
Mm-hmm. And I've been walking around Ballpark Village for the last couple days, and you can see them setting up. And I mean, there's 100 people. It's just building scaffoldings and stages, and there's all kinds of wires, and they're putting out tiles all over the grass, and there's so many moving pieces involved. And it's like Billy Joel and Sting, they're not going to be here for another 48 hours probably. But it's like there's so many people involved in putting that show together, whereas if it was a comedy show, it's like all right,
you could have man do it. Turn the switch on.
Yeah, exactly.
Flick the switch. No, but I know what you're saying, man. Yeah. Oh, I mean, dude, the U2, they did a tour like 10 years ago called the 360 tour, and they had this big giant claw that like sat in the stadium that they had to have cranes in whatever city they were in. Like, look at, I mean, you just Google it. Just Google U2 360 tour, man. It is bananas. And I'm just like, I think they're losing money on this show. Like, how are you paying? This is a whole construction operation. And they literally had this like 3-finger giant claw that lit up and 2 different cranes. They had it here at Busch in 2009, man. It was just chaos. And you're like, boy, that's got to be. I mean, I guess that's why, you got to charge what you charge for tickets, because I'm like, how do you pay those guys? How do you have any left for yourself? So I'm basically what I'm doing is like, I don't think U2 makes enough money. That's what I'm getting at. I think it's really, really sad that they're not they're not getting enough money. Oh, there it is.
I'm glad you brought up U2, because I know you're a fan of the band.
Yeah.
What do you think the best U2 album or song?
It's a great question, man. I mean, the song is
all
so hard.
subjective,
The song is so hard. They have so much stuff. I mean,
well, like you said, they've been around for the 70s or whatever. So
they started in '76 with an album called Boy. I would probably say, by the skin of my teeth, the best album is U2, The Joshua Tree, and that would probably be their biggest as well. The first 4 songs were monster hits. Streets of No Name, Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, With or Without You, Bullet and Blue Sky.
Oh, really? I didn't know
That's
all of
right.
those were from the
Same album, right in a row. But, man, then I'll have Arguments Myself, and I'll go Achtung Baby, which is...
that's the one I've heard the most.
Yeah, that's got One, Mysterious Ways, even better than The Real Thing. One was cute, that was a monster song. That's what the tour was at the Sphere, was they were doing that album. That's people got me like, man, they didn't play all their hits. I'm like, yeah, they made it clear they weren't. They were playing. It was the 25th anniversary of Achtung Baby. It's on the poster. People they didn't play a lot of hits. I'm like, yeah, they said they did. That's not the tour, and they still played like another 8 hits after they basically opened and closed with that album, and then like the last 8 songs were just a bunch of hits. So yeah, and in terms of it's impossible to tell my favorite. I'd probably go with I Will Follow, which is off their first album, 1980, I think. Really killer intro. Or U2 Desire, which is off Rattle and Hum, which is our intro we use at the Funny Bone to start the show, usually. You'll hear that little That's U2's Desire.
That's right.
I had a hand in that. So, and the reason they do it, because in the song, he actually sings like 3 seconds in, but whoever, our buddy Kevin Patterson, comic, he's like, no, I got this looping thing. And so he just looped the guitar riff the first 3 seconds. So it's just 3 seconds like cycled around for like a minute. So that's how you just hear the do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So it's so weird, because it's like you hear the song and you're like, oh, this isn't how it goes.
You know what's funny is that what's the other song when they're doing the announcements, is it Back in Black? Maybe where it starts off with like it's like a tick, 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 dun, dun, dun.
That is Back in
It's
Black, but
Back-
I don't think we use
Is that not? Is that maybe that was Cape that did it? I don't.
Yeah, we
because I
use
hear
that.
the clicking, the tick tick tick.
Yeah, that would be Back in Black.
Whenever whenever my family goes to church, they have we're Catholic, so they have the I forget what it's called, but it's like an orb and it has smoke coming out of it, but they swing it and it's on a chain.
Oh yeah, I know what you're
And
talking
the
about.
chain
Yeah.
clicks.
Yeah.
And it'll be like tick, tick, tick.
Ah.
And I just in my head I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Westport Fight. Like that's always what pops in my head.
That's
now
great,
I was
man,
like,
yeah.
okay, maybe that isn't Westport. That tick tick tick. It might be St. Charles that does it. That's what.
That's what it is.
That's St. Charles.
It's St. Charles.
Because I remember, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Funny Bone, and please silence all cell phones. Blah blah blah. We'll get you out of here. We hit an hour and a half. I told you I'd keep you an hour, and we just.
No, man. Yeah,
But
sorry. I
I
just ramble about.
I got
where
one
I
or
go,
two
so.
more I wanted to.
Yeah, let's
ask
do it,
you.
man.
Best bar arcade game.
Oh.
Just pinball, Buck Hunter, or Golden Tee. It's a loaded question. I know. Yeah.
You nailed it, man. So Golden Tee, I'm at about 12,000 games played, which is actually low in the pro level.
Uh-huh.
Some of these guys are like 100,000 games. Yeah, man, it is a drug for me. My buddy Matt and I, we have a Golden Tee machine at the Jazz Club next to the Funny Bone. We got a good setup, good price. We got like a cut rate on price. I'm not a gamer. I don't play. I don't have anything at my house. I'm not.
Yeah.
I played Nintendo. I did all that stuff as the 80s and 90s PlayStation.
Yeah, I did as a
But-
kid, teenager.
Yeah, dude. And then I don't know, man. I just went up to this thing like 15 years ago in a bar. You just put in $4 and just push this trackball and it swings the golf club, and that was it, man. Over.
I don't
And-
think anyone's capable of walking past it and not rolling
Oh yeah,
the ball.
man, yeah.
I
You
will
have
say
to.
I'm definitely more of a big buck hunter. Man.
Yeah, man. Same
I
company.
get so excited like whenever I see one, and I'm like, of course I got to play. But I remember at Laughing Gas, in the comedy club in Cape, we would have all kinds of people come through, headliners, features, whatever. Feature would get off stage, and they usually go sit at the bar. Or, hit on the servers, or you get some creeps and you get some weirdos
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
got
But I
that
remember you would get off stage, you would put in your headphones,
Yep.
listen to your set, and just play.
I did, man.
Golden Tee,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I just remember being like, "That's the coolest.
Yeah,
like, that's
man.
the best." It's like I'm not gonna bother anybody. I'm not here to.
And that's exactly what I did. And then I'd say something, I'd listen to my set, and I'd be like, shit, why that make no sense? And then I'm like, you dumb idiot. So then people watching me, they're like, man, this guy's really angry about Golden Tee. And I'm like, no, it's not that. It's what's in it's the earphones. It's that dog shit of a comedy act.
It's me.
You sat through. But yeah, man, if you, that's the best place to find me, man, in life. U2 concert, Golden Tee machine, or hopefully a comedy club on the stage, man.
Now, is there a best course in Golden Tee?
So there's like 110 now, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's out of control.
I Googled Golden Tee courses, and it was like from every year they put out a new Golden Tee. And
They
so
do.
Every year
Every
there's
year.
like a new list of 9. So I was like, I just picked a picture. Is there one course that you can remember, like that's your course?
There was a course that I actually really learned how to play the game on, that I shot my first 20 under, which is like this is all nerd talk, so stay with me, but like shooting 20 under when you're new that's a huge deal. Mm-hmm. And it was called Dodge City. That's the thing. They're all fictitious courses, but they're based in real places. And it was like, I think, Dodge City, Kansas, I believe. I think that's a real city. So they'll do that. That's why it tricks. If you were to scroll through each course, it'll actually have a name of a city and country, but then it's just a made up. Like last year they had one in Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, called
That's pretty cool.
Ozark Hills. So I mean, it's just it is, man. Gaming, I'm sure it's just escapism, man. It's just a great way to punch out. I don't have to worry about using my phone because I'm staring at that screen now.
You got something to do with your hands. So you feel like
And there's like a way you can control shots, and like simplistically, it's like, yeah, you just push the ball and the club swings forward. It swings forward. It's not. It's highly detailed and calculated, and the programming and the code to that thing is insane. Like you can buy a Gold Tee machine. They're like $7,000, man. I mean, it's not like you're just getting some, just
Run of the
desktop,
mill.
type $1,500 computer thing. I mean, this is so. I don't know. I don't have any idea how gaming works and how they make games and how do you put trees in a background. I don't understand code. I have no idea how it works. But whoever they got doing, I mean, they've been around since '89, and so they just released their new courses like last week.
Well, and they have tournaments for them.
Tournaments, man. We host one of the Funny Bone.
Yeah,
now. We just did our second one in May.
It's the only merch you guys have.
Yeah,
it's Funny Bone Golden Tee tournament.
Yes. We still got 15 shirts left. Come and make me an offer. I'll say a shirt if I'm back there.
I want a Funny Bone shirt so badly. Like I love going to a club and if you do a set or you have a paid weekend, I like buying the club merch to be like they become like shitty lounge shirts, or like workout shirts or whatever. And I've always wanted a Funny Bone shirt, I almost bought one as soon as they made the Golden Tee one because I was like, I don't know if they're ever gonna.
Dude, I'll give you one. I just don't know I have one. I mean, you're such a big guy, man. I don't know if it's
all right.
It'll fit.
I just want something. I want.
Well, dude, done. You're gonna get. I'll get you at least if I got a double X left. I'll throw it to you,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
that's
the
what
bar. So, but yeah, man, Golden Tee. If you ever walk around, just put $5 in and just start smacking the ball, man.
That's what I did.
It is wildly fun.
I did that one night because I was, working the door at in Cape. After the shows were over on Thursday nights, it would turn into karaoke in the the lounge, which is where the Golden Tee machine was. And so it's like all the comics would leave out, and then it was just, you'd get like 6 people up there just singing terrible covers of songs, and you just had to be there till 2 a.m. just to check IDs or whatever. Like,
yeah.
And you're like, and I would just watch the like demo reel of Golden Tee over and over and over again. That I was like, I'm gonna play. Yeah, this will be fun. I'll play. And I got the first one I did. It was just like shanked it into a sand pit.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck this game, man.
I know that thing. I don't. You can't be like if you just go into it being like, look, I'm not taking this seriously. I'm just gonna pull back this white track ball. It's gonna hit another little video game ball.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it. But it's some of the bangers they're called in this game. I mean, they make like $80,000 to $100,000 a year just playing this game because you can play for money. Which is so crazy because Missouri you can't gamble like on apps for like sports wager. Like I can't put $100 in the Cardinals, but I could theoretically win $200 a day playing Golden Tee. I don't know how they loopholed around that one, but although I think we might be getting gambling in Missouri. I think it's on the ballot,
I think that was.
That's another vice of mine. I could definitely. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad for me. So I love it. I love sports gambling.
I've never gotten into it because I feel like that would be the thing that it would be like. Because I mean, I don't watch a ton of sports, but I love sports. Like I love going to baseball games. I love going to hockey games, football games, and stuff like that. And if it's on TV, I get sucked in.
Yeah.
Just I don't know what it is. If it's the colors and the motion or my ADD or whatever, but and like, especially football, because I know football. I know the rules. I know, and it's like, I would definitely be like, oh, well, the Packers are definitely going to win this week. I'll put $20
Oh, it's
here.
great, man. Yeah.
And
You think you got it all. It's like almost too easy, you think. And so I did one, I'm Bill's guy. So I did this parlay. Basically, a buddy of mine lives in Denver. I call it in. He puts it in. And if I win, he Venmos me. There's how I do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, Bills win by 6. No problem. Josh Allen throws for 200 yards. No problem. Dalton Kincaid gets a touchdown. I like that. No problem. James Cook runs for 75 yards. No problem. Easy. $100 pays you $600. I'm like, I got it. And this is where the gamblers are so good. And I hit all those except for James Cook. Didn't hit his 75. But the first 2 games, he ran for like over 100 each. And I'm like, you got to be shot. God damn it. And it's like, I was so convinced. And the thing is, I'm like, that's it. No more parlays. I'm just straight bets only.
Yeah.
Straight bet. I'll do it again next week. They're playing Sunday night. I'll do it again. I'll do the same thing. pick my 5 guys, and so I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm probably down a little, but not too bad. I haven't got slaughtered because I've had a couple nice wins. So,
Yeah, sports
I don't
gambling.
know. If it comes to Missouri, man, though, it's over for me.
I've been to Vegas a couple times and done blackjack, and every time I lose in blackjack, I'm just like, all right, well, I'm done. It just makes me mad. But sports betting would be the thing where it'd be like, no, but I understand this.
Dude, you know what I do in blackjack? You want to know this? And I tell the dealer this. I do no bust blackjack.
How do you do that?
I do not put myself in a situation where I have to hit a card that I could potentially bust. If I lose, I'm going to make the dealer beat me. So here's my point. I have a 13. Dealer has a 10. I'm staying.
Oh,
and
really?
It pisses people off. And I'm telling you, people laugh at me. They're like, that's not what the book says. Well, you know my wallet says? Keep doing it because I am up. I don't want to say big, but percentage-wise, I've had I mean, the success rate of playing that way versus quote the book, it's like I'm fivefold better doing this no bust strategy. That I don't know, man. It's all to me. It's like I don't know. I'm sure the book doesn't say do it. All this, but I tell the dealer because then if they're watching you, they think you're doing some nefarious shit or something. And I'm like, no. I will not bust. I will not bust. If I have an ace and a 4 and the dealer has a 10, I will hit because I can't bust there. I get that. Worst case, I get a 14, but then I'll stay. So I just don't. I will make, and the amount of times that the dealer has broken. But what happens is then you get other people sitting down, and then they get all like, "Hey man, you're supposed to hit that. You're supposed to, And I'm like, no. I'm supposed to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to do what you want to do. So why don't you just, stay in your lane, man? If you got a problem, we're at a $5 table, by the way. Go play in the banger table, all right? So I'm telling you, man, try it. Try it through one shoe, no bust blackjack. You just never bust. Just never bust and see if you come in. I'm telling you, man, I think I'm onto something with it.
Sounds like a good plan.
I love it, man.
All right, you want to plug your social media?
Yeah, man, that's Sean O'Brien on Instagram. And then, I think it's going to be the first Tuesday in October, which might be October 1st. Whenever the first Tuesday in October is, we're releasing our, actually I can tell you right now, our first episode of the Consumers podcast. Correct. Tuesday, October 1st. It'll be on Nate Bargatze's YouTube channel. And then, anywhere you can get Spotify and Apple Music and all that, anywhere you get a podcast.
That sounds like a really fun idea for a podcast.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like anything. We're going to throw it against the wall and we'll just see, I mean, we're just, we're 3 radically different personalities too. Tim, Greg, and me. And Greg's is very, very polished comic, very smart, critical thinker. I'm just loose cannon. I take it all over the place. Greg's like, all right, over here, on the podcast. But come on, man, over here, Sean. We're talking about White Castle. You're talking about Cologne. All right, now get back on. So I don't know. The dynamic of the group might make it. I don't know. We'll see, man. I mean, we're having fun doing it. So
I know the 3 of you, at varying levels. But I think that that's a fun group. That's a good group of guys to hang with, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And just Nate's promoting it, and it's like,
well, yeah.
Geez, the fact he just mentioned it on his last podcast, and so at least we might get a little bit of a head start with some viewers. So now it's like, all right, hopefully we can make this thing good. So
That's
we'll
awesome.
see, man. Yeah,
That's awesome.
We'll see, buddy.
Well, the very last question I ask everybody when they come on here is, what is the best way to fix this podcast? Any suggestions of how to improve or something you could think of?
The best way to fix this podcast?
If there's any suggestions on how to make it any better or
give me 5 seconds on this. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say. You see, this is honestly, man, and I'm being totally serious with you. This is what podcasts are. People tune in to hear 2 guys shoot the shit.
Yeah.
That it's not some script, really. You had a couple of your little things there. maybe if I selfishly, but I'm a fat bitch. I ask for a better chair.
Yeah.
But that's it. But that's also because I weigh 274. So maybe because I'm a little archback.
That's me too. I got these originally. I was like, oh, these will be comfy. They've got wide arms. I can put the mics on them. People can move them how they want. People could set drinks down, whatever they, And then I looked at the camera like the first week, and I was like, oh yeah, these definitely make you look 20 to 30 pounds heavier when you sit down and everything kind of like collapses.
All show, I keep trying to do this, trying to hide the fact that, and that is me just searching for something to say. So if you had these chairs forever, dude, I think we get by. But yeah, brother, that was fun, man. I'm glad. I'm sorry that we got delayed on it. And
I'm just glad you could do it.
We got on, man. Made it happen.
I'm glad you could come by. I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, you bet, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, guys. Check out Sean O'Brien. Go follow him on social media. Check out his podcast. Greg and Tim are hilarious comics also. It's going to be a good podcast. It'll be fun. And I'll see you next week.